Hello and good evening to you. Welcome to News 360. It's live from our news hub here to this hour in Kanda. My name is Alfred Conte.
And I'm Natalie Force. Let's take a look at the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Chief of Defense Staff Lieutenant General Obed Boama Akwa calls for calm among Ghana Armed Forces following murder of Captain Maxwell Mahama.
Meanwhile, 7 suspects involved in the murder have been remanded in police custody.
Suspects in the murder of MP for Ebuakwa North, Joseph Boache Dankwa Edu, back in court.
70% of all government projects to be exclusively reserved for Ghanaian contractors and suppliers.
And in business, Ghana lost $1 billion in cocoa revenue in the last 6 months as a result of volatility in world prices of the commodity.
And on the foreign front, more than 40 African migrants die on thirst after their truck broke down in the Sahara Desert in northern Niger. Details of these and more in the next 60 minutes here on News 360. Let's go to our first story this evening. The Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General Obed Boama Akwa, has called for calm among the Ghana Armed Forces following the lynching of Captain Maxwell Mahama leading to his death. Addressing a Durbar at the Burma camp in Accra, he encouraged his men to exercise restraint and avoid violence and reprisal attacks as the best way to honor their departed colleague is to be calm.
Men and women of the Army, Navy and the Air Force making up the Ghana Armed Forces gathered for the emergency Durbar to calm their nerves after the lynching of their comrade, Captain Maxwell Adam Mahama.
May the soul of Captain Maxwell Adam Mahama and the souls of the faithful departed rest in perfect peace.
Obviously not their usual posture, clearly demoralized.
As a military institution, Captain Mahama's untimely demise puts a great strain on our resilience as a fighting force, our coping abilities, and our response to crisis.
The Chief of Defense Staff, Director General Obed Akwa, regretted the unbridled posting and sharing of videos and still pictures of the incident on social media and lamented about the pain it brings to the bereaved family.
May I use this opportunity to appeal to you to resist the temptation of rebroadcasting such disturbing images. We must honor our departed colleague and also respect the sensibilities of the bereaved family.
Some of the men could not hide their displeasure and anger at the turnout of events.
You have all the bodyguards around you, but when you wake up early morning and you perform your own personal exercise, nobody will be there, and you don't know who is also training you. Places that we go, that forestry duties and those things that we have been doing, assisting them. So I would suggest we leave the work for the police to also so that we come back to our.
Here the DC of the area statement that he was the commander of soldiers protecting the areas. If this issue goes on, if we can also shoot, we should do the DC. Once we are the last resort in this country, if we allow ourselves to be beaten this way, something might happen. I'm suggesting in Matthew 26:52, he who draws the sword must die. Someone to the people that provide medical services to assign to provide. That will also not be. The next time this will happen. Yes.
The best respect we can pay to our fallen colleague is to ensure that his passing is not associated with further violence. We must refrain from any reprisals or retaliatory actions.
But the CDS gave the assurance that steps are being taken within their mandate to protect the officers while ensuring that the laws of the state are duly respected. Others raised concerns over available support for the family of the deceased, especially his wife and children. The CDS revealed many individuals have indicated their intentions to support the welfare of their children. Indeed, Monday, May 29, will go down as one of the darkest days in the history of the Ghana Armed Forces.
Cape Coast District Court 1 has remanded to police custody the 7 persons suspected to be involved in the murder of Captain Maxwell Mahama to reappear before court on June 19. They were charged for conspiracy to commit murder.
The court was presided over by Magistrate Rita Amwenyua Edusa. The suspects include 29-year-old farmer Kofi Nyame, 30-year-old prison assistant Kofi Bedu, 30-year-old farmer Bismarck Donko, and Philip Bedu, 30 years. Others include William Barr, teacher and assemblyman, Anthony Amua, 23-year-old Okada rider, and Yao Ano, 32-year-old Mason. Meanwhile, the pistol of the military officer that went missing on Monday after the incident has been retrieved. Captain Maxwell Mahama was lynched by some residents of Dintra Boase in the central region.
Let's stay with this a bit further. President Akufo-Addo says all those involved in the murder of Captain Maxwell Adam Mahama will face the full rigors of the law. In a 2-minute audio from the Flagstaff House, the president also ordered the suspension of the district chief executive of Denchira Obuasi, Daniel Apiening.
I was extremely upset to hear about the news of the death of Captain Mahama. To me, a complete waste of life, a valuable life, in circumstances that do no credit to anybody. Very, very sorry to hear about it. And I'd like to extend my sincerest and deepest condolences to his wife and family. I asked the Vice President to go and visit with the family, and I believe today my own wife, Rebecca, has been also to console the widow. One thing which is clear, I've told the law enforcement agencies, the law investigation and enforcement agencies, that they should spare no stone to make sure that those who were responsible for this brutal act are brought to face their consequences and brought before trial in our courts, and justice done accordingly. We have to have a country where the rule of law works. I've been fighting for that all my life, and now that I'm in the chair, I have to make sure that there is meaning to it. I've had to do something with some considerable reluctance, but which I felt was necessary to do. The district chief executive made comments in this matter that appeared to have been somewhat provocative, taking the decision that he should be suspended, pending an inquiry into all the circumstances of the matter and the comments that he but in the meantime, directed the Minister for Local Government to take the appropriate measures to carry out this decision.
Still watching News 360. Remember that this bulletin is streaming live on 3news.com as well as News on TV3 on Facebook and GhanaWeb.com. So you can watch us all across the world on those platforms.
And let's show there's lots of developments coming through about this particular story, and we'll still stay a bit further with that. Parliament has called for speedy investigation into the murder of Captain Maxwell Adam Mahama to ensure justice. Legislators condemned the act and commended the military for exhibiting professionalism in such a difficult situation.
Two members of parliament, Ras Mubarak and Kwejo Esiedu, made statements on the floor condemning the act, describing it as barbaric.
For far too long, Mr. Speaker, we have sat back as a nation and watched almost on a monthly basis incidents like this take place and remain silent because it has not directly affected us. His attackers cannot go unpunished. We cannot treat this on a business as usual basis.
The police are not well resourced to carry out investigations in a swift and professional manner. In a place like Denchawasi, we should ask whether the Central Regional Command has an operational plan there in fighting all manner of crimes.
Ras Mubarak called for a state burial for the late Maxwell Mahama. Minority leader Haruna Idrisu said he admired the conduct of the military and also called for speedy investigations.
Impunity must be fought and impunity must be checked. If that is not done, it becomes a recipe for lawlessness. We will have no hesitation with your guidance that the Honorable Minister for Defense, the Minister for Interior, and the Attorney General must take particular interest in this matter and apprise not just the House, but let the Ghanaian people know how they are walking the course of justice.
The majority leader also deplored instant justice.
Let us all appeal to the police not to revert to mass action by swooping on the entire community. At least that video clip would assist them to identify those of them who were the ringleaders in that gruesome act.
We must be patient with the law. The wheels of justice grind slowly but surely. The process that will lead to the indictment and a successful trial necessarily will have to go through a process.
Other contributors urged the National Commission for Civic Education to educate citizens on their rights, as well as the need to resource the security services for effective investigations. Some called for a police station to be put up at Denshura Obuasi. Deputy Interior Minister Henry Korte assured members the security agencies would fish out all the perpetrators and bring them to book. Meanwhile, the Speaker has referred President Akufo-Addo's nominee for Chief Justice, Justice Sofa Akufu, to the Appointments Committee.
The Public Relations Directorate of the Ghana Armed Forces has revealed fraudsters are capitalizing on the gruesome murder of Captain Mahama to raise money on online website GoFundMe.com. TV3 checks have revealed the social media campaign is being championed by one Modesta Adewuju Alogbawone. The online fundraiser, developed by Nigerian Modesta Adewuju Alogbawone, is seeking to raise an amount of $100,000. Currently, an amount of $2,170 has been raised by 53 people in just one day, and the post has received shares of 2,600 people. The fundraising developer, Modesta Adewuju Alogbawone, claims to be a family friend of the deceased, collaborating with the family to raise funds. A dedicated webpage, GoFundMe.com, is currently soliciting for funds. Further checks on the personal LinkedIn page of the culprit reveal she works as a public relations and communications practitioner with an educational experience from Keene University in New Jersey in the United States and the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in Kumasi, Ghana. So far, the website has caught the attention of many, with many touched, sending solidarity messages. But the armed forces has denied knowledge of this move, insisting it is fraudulent.
Well, you're questioning the level of insensitivity, with people who are doing this. But then again, systems have to be put in place. We've monitored a number of these fake accounts, 5 of them, and I've been joined in studio by Albert Nchiboisiako, who's the Executive Director of E-Crimes Bureau, to help us do this, because when we discovered this, we got through to them, and they have also been able to close down a number of those accounts. Good evening to you. It's good to have you.
Good evening, Alfred. To your
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. But before we get into you and what you've been doing to block these accounts when we alerted you, I've been joined on the telephone by Colonel Agrekwashi, who's the Director of Public Relations at the Ghana Armed Forces. Colonel, good evening to you, if you can hear me, sir.
Good evening, my brother.
Can you confirm to us there are some website raising funds for the late captain, and has this come to your notice as the Ghana Armed Forces?
I think one of your colleagues drew my attention to it. The Armed Forces don't know anybody who has set up or opened a website. So anybody doing anything of that sort is a fraud. And so I think the public needs to be worried about this.
I see. Now, this lady in question, this Nigerian in question, when we discovered it and we reported it to the E-Crimes Bureau, there was a follow-up post that her father is related to the late Adam Mohammed's, his friend to Adam Mohammed's father. And so that should settle this. Have you gotten in touch with the family to confirm whether indeed they have knowledge of this account or these accounts?
As this evening, when I spoke to your colleague, the family, we were with the family when this thing came and we checked, and they don't know anything of that sort. And so we will be very grateful if the public, before they do anything of that sort, will go through the armed forces so that we'll be able to authenticate some of these things. Other than that, fraudsters will use this opportunity to defraud unsuspecting people.
I see, already some 2,170 has been donated, and this person has a target of $100,000. People have fallen to this scam. Is the armed forces having any system to track these fraudulent activities that is taking advantage of this unfortunate situation?
I don't think, as we speak, we have that capacity to deal with such things. But we'll be counting on the support of the general public, the media, to alert us. Once this thing comes to our attention, then appropriate agencies that are supposed to check these things can relay this information to them.
I see. Now, I would just hold you on just a little bit. I just want to find out from Mr. Nchiboisiako, how many of these sites have you closed down?
Well, I think we've been monitoring the situation. It is quite predictable. It has happened before. The June 3rd incident in this country, when there was a disaster around Circle.
Absolutely.
Equally, criminal elements took advantage. A national tragedy, but we have people who also take advantage to make money. And even though, I mean, your analysis I don't think is conclusive, the military has denied ever sanctioning such an activity. But probably we may have to look further. There might be a genuine person who has dedicated himself or herself to set up together.
You know, as I was saying, I mean, this lady, this Nigerian lady in question, when we brought your attention to it, there was a follow-up post that her father is related to, or is a friend to Adam Mohammed's father, something of the sort. Some relationship.
This is not the only one. There are a couple of items also on Facebook. And we even expect to see some of those things on social media, on WhatsApp. I mean, using mobile money and others. As I'm saying, it's a normal trend that when there is a national tragedy, when people are touched like this, that's where criminals also take advantage of the situation. And
I want to wrap it up with Colonel Agrekwashi on the telephone. Colonel, but away from this, we saw a lot of your men expressing anger. And how hard or tough has it been for you controlling the tempers in the barracks and the various Ghana Armed Forces installations?
See, the armed forces is a disciplined institution. That does not mean that people don't get angry. But if people meet their commanders, they have confidence in their commanders. And that is the more reason why the CDS held the debate today. The sort of things going on in the media, social media, and comments by people was raising tension among troops. That something should be done to, so to speak, pacify the fallen colleague. But the CDS made everybody understand that even the head of family of the late officer begged that no soldier should do anything that will lead to the loss of life of any other person just because he has lost a kinsman. Okay. It's not for anything at all. We just need to respect the wishes of the family.
Right. Go.
And so our personnel have understood these things, and at least tempers are coming down. And like I told one of the media houses, we pray that people will not do things to provoke troops. Great. In times like this, yes, it will not help anybody.
I want to thank you very much, and kudos. I mean, there's been a lot of commendation to calm the nerves and the tempers of the people, but I mean, especially the military personnel there. Right. Now, so you said this is not the first time it's happened. I mean, May 9th, we saw people taking advantage of this disaster. Absolutely. June 3, which is going to be coming in the next 2 days, we saw people take advantage of it. How do we, put systems in place to check this kind of situation?
Well, it depends on where this is happening. For example, if you take GoFundMe as a website, it's a legitimate organization which is being hosted in the US.
Right.
That means if you have credible intentions, you can set up a donation for whatever cause that you're doing. And it's the same with that platform. It's being used by people with criminal intent to set up these activities. It is being hosted in the US, so it's not even in Ghana. Let's say our National Communication Authority will have to engage with US authorities to be able to, pull down certain sites. But what we need to do is monitoring. Monitoring is key.
Right.
When we get into such moment, let's activate that kind of monitoring on social media. Let's also make the protocols clear. If somebody, an individual, an organization, want to really focus on raising funds to help this cause, they should follow, certain procedures. But most importantly, I think we should be also, as citizens, some kind of due diligence. We shouldn't just be donating money unless we've established who is behind this kind of charity. We don't just have to, because of out of sympathy, out of emotions, then we give money out. I think these are some of the best practices we need to do.
Great point there. But Albert Entry, Executive Director of the Crimes Bureau. But I'll just have you just watch this, because we've been monitoring this situation for quite a while. When we brought your attention to it and the concerns that people were raising about it. This is the Facebook page of this particular person we're talking about, and you see there's been a number of posts. Actually, the page has the late Adam Muhammad's family picture there, and then when people started raising concerns because there was some coming in, then there was a post just about an hour ago. If you see it right there, it says that we hope this stops the cynicism and name calling. Okay, so that's what you see on your screens right now. That's it. It says, we hope this stops the cynicism and name calling of Modesta Adewoji Alobawene, the creator of the GoFundMe account linked to this page. We can confirm that all the proceeds will go to the endowment fund at Fidelity Bank Limited with account number, and we're making efforts to get through to Fidelity Bank to confirm whether indeed this account exists or not. All cash donations can also be sent to the MTN mobile money number, and they give a mobile money number, and they can also help her to reach her goal of $100,000. Thank you. That is this message that was posted just about an hour ago as we were coming through. That is what's happening. There's a site linked to this that has been closed down when we alerted E-Crimes Bureau on this, and they've been working on it. So we're monitoring to keep you all updated as well. Away from this, the two suspects alleged to have murdered the late Member of Parliament for the Boaka North constituency, Joseph Boakye Dankwa Edu, were on Thursday rearranged before the Accra Central District Court after their release. Daniel Siedo and Vincent Bosso were also rearrested after they were discharged following a nolle prosequi issued by the Attorney General.
The suspects, Daniela Seidu and Vincent Bosso, were rearrested after they were discharged following an earlier decision by the Attorney General to discontinue the trial. The two have been charged with abetment of crime to commit murder and murder, unlike earlier when Daniela Seidu was charged with murder and robbery and Vincent Bosso was charged with abetment of robbery.
The suspect told the court they do not know why they were in court because they were discharged. The prosecutor, George Amega, insisted there is fresh evidence against them. George Amega prayed the court for the suspect to be remanded as police were still investigating some new leads they have gathered. The presiding judge, Efiaje Chuasaki, granted the request for remand and adjourned the case to June 14.
It's still News 360. Let's now take a look at how the weather will be faring this evening through till tomorrow morning. Bringing more news here on News 360 shortly. Stay with us.
Hello, good evening to you, and thanks for staying with us right here on News 360. Let's do business now. My name is Nanikia Mensah Brampa. Now, two good news coming in from the commodities area, talking about cocoa. Ghana has lost some $1 billion in the last 6 months in revenue as a result of volatility in the world prices of cocoa. Management of Cocoa Board also attributed the loss to revenue in terms of smuggling, bad harvesting practices, as well as swollen shoot disease. Chief Executive Officer of Cocoa Board, Joseph Boahin Edu, says he is poised to improving the cocoa revenue before the end of this year.
Volatility in the world prices of cocoa has affected production and revenue generation in most cocoa producing countries. The country has lost $1 billion in the last 6 months, representing 30% of revenue generation. Experts also attributed the problem to the lack of technology by peasant farmers and occasional attack of cocoa beans by the swollen shoot disease. For these reasons, Ghana has initiated discussions with the Ivorian government on how the two countries can improve cocoa production. A two-day consultative meeting with a technical committee initiated by the President Akufo-Addo and his Ivorian counterpart Alassane Ouattara has been scheduled. The committee is tasked to fashion out workable and practical strategies which will provide adequate incentives to cocoa farmers. Deliberations would also seek to address the smuggling of cocoa beans at the various borders. Joseph Boahin is the CEO of Cocoa Board.
Provision of planting materials, extension, pest and disease control, quality assurance, smuggling of cocoa and inputs, cocoa inputs, marketing structures, trading systems, and local consumption.
The Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Free Yakoto, underscored the need to improve cocoa production to create jobs.
This presents an opportunity to industrialize and diversify the economies of our commodity-dependent economies, create job opportunities, alleviate poverty, and generate revenues for social and economic development.
Board Chairman of Cocoa Board, Hakman Owusu Ajiman, encouraged the consumption of cocoa products to expand the domestic markets.
I think that we, as a people, should also begin to consume what we produce. And then all the other producing countries, as well as at the same simultaneously, have now a frontal attack on cocoa consumption globally.
Let's move away from the commodities now, and there's a new addition to the banking industry. I'm talking about the Construction Bank Ghana, which is open for business. Now, the new Ghanaian bank, which specializes in financial services for real estate, construction and infrastructure development, promises innovation, quality and affordable services as well as customer care.
The latest addition to the country's banks is the Construction Bank Ghana, a wholly Ghanaian-owned indigenous institution. The bank seeks to provide banking services in project finance, commercial and consumer banking with construction, infrastructure and mortgage financing as its primary objective. Board Chairman Dr. Asare Kufu said the bank is poised to deliver top-notch services and tailor-made products to its clientele.
We have come with differentiation to make a difference. The focus of most of the existing players in the banking industry have been on the retail and commercial sectors of the market, without any dedicated offering to the construction and infrastructure segment, despite the growth potential it holds.
First Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Millicent Nye, implored the bank to deliver on its pledge.
The birth of the Construction Bank is a welcome response to customer demands, particularly from the real estate and road construction segments of the market, for tailor-made banking services to address the financial needs of the sector.
Minister for Works and Housing Samuel Atachia was confident the bank will help in reducing the country's housing deficit through partnership with government. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was elated the bank's direction will expand the economy and boost investor confidence.
We are a country witnessing steady development in the infrastructure sector, which calls for special attention and support. This support comes in varied forms, and the coming into force of the Construction Bank with the targeted objective of oiling the wheels of the construction industry is key in this enterprise.
Construction Bank Ghana is the first to be licensed this year, making it the 34th bank in the country.
Well, let's move away, and 70% of all government contracts would be exclusively reserved for Ghanaian contractors and suppliers. Minister of State in charge of procurement, Adjoa Safo, confirming this to TV2 Business, said 30% of the quota would also be allocated to women.
The new government policy on local contract quota is aimed at growing Ghanaian businesses to be competitive. Government intends to send a clear signal on its stance on local content and empower the private sector. Minister of State in charge of procurement, Adjoa Safo, says the youth and the physically challenged would also be considered when government-sponsored projects are being given out.
We want government contracting 70% to go to our own people so that we build our base, we encourage our own and grow our industries. Again, out of the 70, we want to ensure that 30% of that will go to companies owned by women.
Chief Executive of the Public Procurement Authority, Ejenim Boatinejeyi, said the frivolous use of a clause in the Procurement Act to issue sole-sourced contracts in the past would not happen under his watch.
There have been a couple of infractions. First, even the application of the various circumstances under which the sole source are granted and the restrictive tenderings are granted. Some of the clauses they have used are frivolous and did not involve due diligent work.
He insisted the authority will strictly apply the Procurement Act.
Whereas we had about 80 applications in the month of April for last year, this year we had only 37. And out of the 37, whereas they gave 98% on the average approval, we have given just about a little over 27% approval.
Right, remember you can log on to 3news.com for more business, but that will do for now. My name is Nanikia Mensah-Brampa. Let's go back to Alfred and Natalie with more.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Let's go straight to the people of Bonekope in the Ada East District of the Greater Accra region have honored the memory of the late Margaret Akuonu an indigent who was killed some 32 years ago. Margaret Kuonu was hit by a stray bullet during the clash between the community and the police against the takeover of the Ada Songo salt concession.
Bonikope is a salt mining community with majority of residents depending on it for their livelihood. 32 years ago, Margaret Kuonu, who was pregnant, died after she was hit by a stray bullet during a clash between residents and the police. The protest was against the takeover of lands for salt mining business in 1985. Some residents shared fond memories of her. The ceremony was also to highlight the concerns of indigents. They lamented over the high rate of unemployment in the town, particularly among women.
You're watching News 360. We'll bring you the very latest from the world of sport shortly. Stay with us.
And Coach Kwesi Appiah all present at the training base in Accra today. There were new faces in there from the initial 17 that, reported on Wednesday ahead of the Nations Cup qualifier against Ethiopia. Nanekia Mankwa was there on the second day of training.
The players, as expected, were put through their paces today by head coach Kwesi Appiah as they shape up for the crucial encounters this month under new coach Kwesi Appiah. The games this month present opportunities for many of these players to leave lasting impressions on the minds of fans and the technical team. Most importantly, no new faces were seen at the training camp on Thursday following the 17 who showed up the day before. Not yet present are the likes of Adam Kwarase, John Boy, Harrison Afo, Thomas Partey and Asamoah Gyan. There's a returnee, however, Rashid Sumaila, who has been out of the setup for the last couple of years, insists he is back to take his place.
It's very privileged to just come and play for the senior national team. And I'm really happy I'm back. I'm ready to fight for my nation. Because being in the national team is not easy, it's an honor. So we thank each and everyone believing in us. We'll give our best and help to succeed here.
Many of those present, though, especially the new faces, will seek to take full advantage of the experience they are gathering at the non-residential campaign. Some of the local base players are ready to embrace it.
It's a big honor, to be part of the Black Star, and then I'm really proud of myself, and then I'm really proud of what I've been doing all season, and then coming here, I'm going to do my best and then to keep myself in the team.
It's a great feeling. So the best thing for us to do is train hard, be focused, confident, and then give our all out so that the coach will know, okay, he didn't make a mistake by calling us. There's more to come, As I said, I'm now playing with experienced players, and I'll learn more from them, and then I'll add it to mine. Trust me, it will be, people will see that a different combination very soon.
The game against Ethiopia coming up later in the month, these players will take too seriously this chance to work with Kwesi Appiah more often in the coming months.
All right, so that is it with the Black Stars. But let me just ask you a question. Do you believe in what they call juju in sports? Well, Kumasi Asante Kotoko have been going through some difficulties this season. On and off the pitch, change of coach has still not helped their cause. One man claiming to be behind their struggles is native Dr. Kweku Bunsam. Michael Otieje sat with him to discuss this and other sporting issues.
Last year, there is some of Kotoko. There are 4 boys. They come to me in Accra and also in Sapema to consult me that they want Kotoko and Accra spoke, they could have played the ball. They want them to win it. So they test me all the players' names and they test me half of 4 players' names. I give them my medicine the time I was going to South Africa. Somewhere 2000, I worked for Kotoko more than 6 to 7 years ago. So when the goal comes, and then they started insulting me, I told them the high school is going to win Kotoko. And they say, oh, it's the management. If the coach is no good, I told them that if we like, let's go bring Coach Morino Basino or Coach Dafinikete and I say I go to Fista to come. You're not going to win. Only one this bottle. Listen to me. One of this bottle and 1 sheep. And then 1 sika more money and bring it. And they're going to do the rituals and sacrifices so that everything's going to be okay.
Rather interesting over there. But let's move away from football. Let's go do some smashing sports. I'm talking tennis. World number 1 Andy Murray came from a set down to beat Martin Klizan and reached the French Open third round. Murray lost their opening set on a tie break but recovered to win in 5 sets. The Briton will now face Juan Martin Del Potro after the Argentine progressed when his opponent Nicolas Almagro retired with a knee injury. Elsewhere, third seed and former champion Stan Wawrinka progressed to the third round with victory over Ukraine's Alexander Dolgopolov. All right, so that's exactly where we bring an end to the sports bulletin right here on News 360 with me, Thierry. And we'll bring some more sports news later with Anakojo Afre tomorrow. Keep watching TV3 and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Welcome back to News 360. Let's now take a look at some international news.
More than 40 African migrants have died of thirst after their truck broke down in the Sahara Desert in northern Niger. BBC quotes the Red Cross as saying the dead included Ghanaians and Nigerians trying to get to Libya. The Red Cross said 6 survivors, all women, said several children were among the dead. The route from Niger to Libya is one of the main ways migrants reach North Africa before crossing the Mediterranean Sea to Europe. French prosecutors have opened a preliminary investigation into the past activities of France's Minister for Territorial Integration, Richard Ferrand, a close ally of President Macron. The public prosecutor from the city of Brest says the decision to open a probe was motivated by new media reports about Ferrand's business and financial dealings. Le Monde newspaper reported that in 2012, when he was an MP, Ferrand advocated a bill advantageous to insurance companies. It said the minister's insurance company had contracts with both his ex-wife and his current companion. Ferrand has denied any wrongdoing.
Still here on News 360. We'll bring you more news shortly. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Now, the issue of legalizing the use of motorcycles for commercial purposes has engaged public discourse for some time now. Some law experts are arguing that the existing laws on them should rather be strengthened.
Ghana's Road Traffic Regulation 128 of LI 2180 prohibits the use of motorcycles and tricycles for commercial transportation. However, the trend has become very common in the country, especially in the regional capitals. This means of transport is being largely seen as a better option to beat the tailbacks, which invariably lead to commuters spending hours on end in traffic. But this mode of transportation is not for the faint-hearted. Though swift, these motor riders often flout traffic regulations and meander through traffic, at times with no regard for other road users. They are also often associated with criminal activities. In the 3 regions in the north and some rural communities, motorcycles and tricycles are the only commercial transports available. They therefore also serve as ambulances to carry the sick during emergencies. As reasonable as these may sound, some stakeholders argue they should not be given the legal backing to enable them operate commercially. Police records indicate that over 1,200 motorcycle accidents have been recorded between January and April this year, with over 700 people dying as a result. There have also been many recorded cases of criminal activities perpetrated by motorcycle riders under the guise of working. As a result, the police have organized intermittent swoops to arrest culpable riders over the years, but they say the lack of cooperation from the public is undermining their efforts.
In spite of all our efforts, our good intention efforts, people are still giving excuses of, oh, there is no job, so they should be allowed to use motorcycles as commercial means of getting some money.
A lawyer and lecturer at the GIMPA, John Darko, is of the view associated sanctions should be strengthened.
The punishment for them are not tough enough. You have to make them too expensive for anybody to engage in them. If you arrest me and I'm supposed to pay a fine of say 100 cedis or 200 cedis, I'd rather engage in you catch me, I pay the fine. Next time I'm back on the road. We need to keep punishing people.
And what do the lawmakers make of legalizing the use of motorcycles and tricycles for commercial purposes?
It's only in Ghana that it's not being allowed to do as a commercial business. And therefore, if people are calling for it, then we need to call for a national debate on it. And if the whole country thinks that that's the way forward to generate income and to create job opportunity for people, why not?
We should legalize it, meaning that we have a law that regulates the use of motorbikes for commercial purposes, because it's already in the system, and I have seen all sorts of people being carried by Okada men.
Perhaps the public understanding of the situation may play a key role in succeeding in the fight.
Well, Okada or no Okada, we'll see what happens. Next is entertainment news.
Entertainment news is brought to you by
In entertainment news this evening, winner of Talented Kids Season 8, Erica Tandor, aka DJ Switch, has been relocated from the Ideas Junior College in Dadieso in the Western region to the Talented Royals International School in Accra. The 9-year-old kid's celebrity's change of environment is to boost her academic potentials. Owusu Arai has more.
DJ Switch. Yes, she won the Talented Kids Season 8, and after that she indicated that she wants to become a doctor. Guess what? The parents have decided to change her environment. She used to be based in Dadieso in the Western region, but now she's been moved to Accra and she's changed her school as well. So now she's going to be attending school at Talented Royals International School, that is around Weja. In a moment, she'll be coming out of the car. Oh, there she comes, DJ Switch. Her first day in school in Accra.
I'm happy. First of all, I have to greet my fans.
Sure.
I'm happy to be in Talented Royals International School. And from talented to talented, it means the swag.
It is 7 a.m. Thursday morning and time to conduct the morning's assembly.
National pledge.
I promise on my honor.
DJ Switch just couldn't wait to meet her new friends. And for the Class 5 pupils, it was a great feeling sharing a class with a kid celebrity.
I like the way when she mixes the music, then how she puts her style in it. That gives me affection for her. I like her attitude. I like everything.
The fast-rising kid is determined to study hard to realize her dream of becoming a medical doctor.
DJing is my passion. I'm here to learn hard so that I can be a doctor.
Her new classmates promise to make her stay a productive one.
She's good in rapping and stuff. I'll help her do some like education and learning our science and English.
Soon, it was time for lessons.
When in the answer prayer office. Yes. Early afternoon. Clap for her.
I'm a teacher myself. I saw the environment. I saw they had a lot of facilities that would help her learn to be the doctor she wants to be, and also nurture her talent and improve upon whatever she knows.
Beyond the academic work, Erica looks forward to building a successful DJing career. Again, the school has made provision to help her realize that.
We've got most of our royals here with their respective talent. In fact, many of the parents who even brought their children here never knew the God-gifted talent they had until they brought them here. So DJ Swish coming here with her talent is going to be a wonderful thing. We're going to polish her and try to expose her to the world.
All right, from talented to talented. My name is Alfred Okansi. Yeah.
And I'm Natalie Force. Thanks so much for watching this evening. Remember, there's more news on our website, 3news.com. Next is Do Not Love Me So Much. Stay with TV3.